All right, welcome back. The hashtag is Breakfast Daily.
Yeah.
WhatsApp line is 0550585832. You don't want to miss any of the conversations we're having this morning. An opportunity to let us know your thoughts on any of the discussions that we have. Right. Of course, last night, whilst the AFCON was going on, there were trending stories on Twitter, apart from AFCON. And Nima was trending.
There was a battle on the field.
Yes, I know,
and there was a battle
in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate incidents there. We would, bring you the story and dig into what is probably the issues, the underlying issues that's causing all of this. But let's first of all take a look at what actually happened. We have footage of some of the scenes that happened there. Let's take a look at that and we'll come back and get into the conversation. All right, so very disturbing scenes there, right in the heart of the capital city of Accra. For the life of me, I can't understand why people would be this barbaric. But there's always underlying issues. There's always a reason why something like this will pop out apparently from nowhere. It's never from nowhere. There's always something that has been brewing for some time. And this is what you see as an end result. Kokui, I don't know what your reaction was when you first,
I mean, the brazenness of it all, and the kind of disregard for human life. People were just shooting indiscriminately. Cutlasses being wielded.
I mean, somebody's falling on the ground, and it's like your aim is, I'm going to butcher you.
It speaks to something that has been simmering, and from the little bit we know, it looks like, for lack of a better word, rival gangs who just decided to go at each other. But we'll get more information on that. We know that ACP Kwesi Ofori, the PRO for the police, had something to say on this. Let's take a look at that.
All right, so
we'll take a look at that in a second. But when you think that something like this can occur in broad daylight, in the capital city, which is supposed to be well policed, people you would expect people to behave better. But I mean, this is an urban city. This is a neighborhood where there are a lot of young idle people. With time on their hands, probably some frustrations built up as well. I don't like to speculate, but one can't help but wonder that if there was something productive happening for these young people, we wouldn't be seeing scenes like this.
No, you're right. You're actually right.
It's really disturbing. Again, the boldness with which they were able to attack each other without any regard for the people around them, for their own lives, for the destruction, the loss of life potentially that could have occurred. So far, though, we haven't really heard that anyone lost their life. Amazingly, surprisingly, with all this violence going on. But
I think some people lost their lives.
Whether they were injured or lost their lives, I don't know. I don't know for sure.
Anyway, so I have the City Newsroom story here. Let me just quickly read that for us. So on City Newsroom, we have 7 persons arrested over shootout in Nima as 2 gangs clash. All right, so the Ghana Police Service has arrested 7 persons over the shootout in Nima on Tuesday during a clash between 2 gangs. Now, 5 of the suspects are in police custody, while 2 have been hospitalized under police guard. The police are also on the search for the leaders of the two gangs known as Kumoji and Bonbon. The injured victim, known as Apia, is receiving treatment at 37 Military Hospital. The Director General of Police Public Affairs, ACP Kwesi Fori, who addressed the media at the police headquarters, said Nima witnessed mass violence around 3:30 p.m. 3:30 p.m. yesterday, Tuesday, and the police quickly intervened. The violence spread across some sections of Nima, and we managed to stabilize the situation. 7 persons have been arrested, 5 are presently here with us, and the other 2 are at admission at the police hospital. So you're right, Kokwi, there's no report of anybody actually losing their life,
injuries,
in the process. He further indicated that the police are actively working to clamp down on all criminals within Nima and its environs. The police service posted a video on its Facebook page showing a group of men holding machetes moving along a street in Nima as some fired gunshots in the open. The police on its social media post has also said it strongly intervened and contained the violence. So this is what we have so far for you. It's very unfortunate. I mean, for me, the issue is you can deal with the gangs, but there are reasons why things are fomented, from beneath, and that's what we need to address.
Okay, well, let's talk to the Director General of Police Public Affairs, ACP Kwesi Ofori. He's joining us on the line. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Morning. Welcome to Breakfast Daily. Thank you for speaking with us this morning.
Thank you.
So we have a few details as to who has been arrested and who's being treated so far, but what's the latest information you can give us about the disturbances in Nima?
Thank you very much. As we promised, the police will give further details today through press briefing and statement to give reasons why the two gangs clashed and any other additional arrests made will be known. For now, as I said, we are pursuing the leaders, Kumoji and Bonbon. We are doing everything possible to get them and their followers who designed and orchestrated this violence. So, police presence in Nima is huge, and a lot of intelligence-led operations are ongoing. And before midday, we might come out with a statement and briefing on the matter.
Okay, fair enough. We'll wait for that statement to see the genesis of this particular clash. But ACP Ofori, you spoke about police presence. Now, what was the policing situation like in Nima at this time when this was occurring, such that these men were able to not only wield these machetes, but also to fire gunshots brazenly? And from what we see in the about 1 minute long footage, we really don't see any kind of police presence. On a normal everyday basis, is this an area that the police has its eye on, or did this come as a surprise to the police in Nima?
Okay. There are other places that showed our intervention moves and tactical moves. As I said, the police looking at the geoposition of Nima. It is very central and a lot of businesses and commuters uses that route. But the police quickly designed an operational formula to cause the situation, for which we did excellent. And thereafter, we were able to stabilize the situation, got into the ghettos, the trouble spot, and where the firing were taking place. And as I speak to you, we are in control yesterday. We did drive along within the Nima environs, and your team, led by
Umaru Sanda.
Yes, Umaru Sanda was there. And the media witnessed, what the police were doing, how far we've gone. But the issue is not over. Our aim is to dismantle those criminal gangs and elements, make sure that we create desirable security within the community. So it is not a question of arrest and prosecution only. We are now moving forward to make sure that we partner community leaders, the youth leaders in particular, to design a big model that would ensure the general safety of NIMA and its environment.
Great. All right. ACP, since you've already mentioned that we will expect a statement from your outfit sometime this morning, we'll wait for that to get further and better particulars about your operation so far. So thank you again. We know you're very busy. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. So again, that was ACP Kwesi Ofori, Director of Public Affairs for the Ghana Police Service, just giving us an update on the situation in NIMA. And as he said, they will have a press conference sometime this morning. He says probably before midday, to give us more information on the suspected gang leaders and what they've discovered so far since the last statement they released.
Yeah. So I mean, the situation is unfolding, and hopefully, as he said, one of the things that I like in his statement just now is that they're looking to dismantle, the operation of those gangs.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's not just those two gangs that are there in NIMA, but these are two feuding rival gangs. So I think it's important for us to get to the root of some of these issues. Because there are neighborhoods in Ghana that have been here as long as NIMA has, and they've never fought. They've never, as much as, lifted a finger against each other, even though human beings get upset, over issues. We have our correspondent, our colleague here, Umaru Sanda Amadou, who is the host of Eyewitness News, went on the ground there and brought us a report. Let's take a look.
We are told that this particular clash that we saw was between two groups which are very popular in this community, the community of Mamobi. We are told one group is headed by somebody who is known popularly as Kumoji, another one known as Bomba. And these two group supporters are the ones that engage in the exchanges that we have seen in the viral videos on social media. As we speak, Frema, I'm speaking to you from the NIMA Divisional Police Command here in Accra, and I must say that there's a crunch meeting ongoing in there. There's a lot of operation happening already. The regional police commander is here. The operations commander for the region is here. Now, the ACP Kwesi Ofori, who is the director of communication for the Ghana Police Service, has moved in here, as well as the district and divisional commanders of the NIMA police. They are all engaged here, while the men, fully armed, both CID and uniformed officers, are moving around seeking for information. There are family members and people of interest who have come here to understand what the situation is, possibly to help give some more information. The municipal chief executive for this municipality, Alhaji Aminu MZ, is also in this particular meeting, and they are having some further engagements and deliberation. What I have picked up so far is that 2 persons have been arrested and they are behind bars. A lot of the people who were being sought after, we are told, have escaped. These two group leaders, namely Kumoji and Bomba, are currently AWOL, or disappeared, as the police have said to us, and this is off record by what we've been picking up here. Let me speak to 1 or 2 of the people who are here, NIMA people or Mamobi people who know more. Hello, sir, if you can just join me here on the City Newsroom, if you could just come close. What's your name?
I'm Honorable Musa Wahab.
Who are you?
I'm one of the opinion leaders in the community.
In Mamobi or NIMA?
NIMA and Mamobi.
What do you know about what happened today?
Well, we have to sit up about what is going on in the community. We have left ourselves and our chiefs and the people in the area. We don't care about what is going on. But of late now, it has affected our children. Because when our children is looking what is going on, it's very, very bad. So we are pleading with the authorities. They should sit up and let the area be peace, because we want peace. As things is going like that, we don't have peace. Now all the area have choked, people are not going, people are not coming, and it's very, very serious. They are swelling our name.
Do you know what caused today's issue?
The problem is, what we heard first was, Komoji is going to Mamobi to go and change money. he have some dollar to go and change. From there, and other people, these bomber people, they were asking him, what do you want here? What do you want here? And he said, what's your problem with me? I'm coming to change. So I'm coming to change this thing. So what's your problem with me? Already, I thought they have some fight already. So for there, these people blow on the Kumoji. So when the thing happened like that, so Kumoji also have to retaliate or something like that. So they start fighting, giddy. And this fight, they were trying to organize so that maybe it will be peace among them. But I thought, these people, they don't understand what is going on. So we all realize the thing have escalated to this group who brought his people, this one too, before you see them shooting up and down, and it's very, very, very bad.
Indeed, very, very bad. We'll try and speak to a few more other people in the community. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Sola. So Sola is one of the people who are opinion leaders in this community, and he is saying there to us that the information is that one of the leaders of the groups, and I've already told you, Frema, that these two groups, Bomba is the leader of one, Kumoji is the leader of another. Yeah. And we're told these groups already have a standing fight. One of the leaders had gone to exchange currency at in the community, and that has led to what we are seeing. The police commanders are all gathered here from the region, and of course the division and the district. They have not given us any concrete information as yet on what exactly the situation is in terms of the number of persons who have died. But lots of people who are interested in what is happening, and if you could just pan around, you would see what is happening here. Lots of people moving around who have come to find out what the situation is in terms of the development in Nima and Mamobi. And they are all really bothered, and they are saying that this is a challenge for the community, and they want a solution found to this. Let me try and speak to one other person in this community who I believe would know so much to share with us on this particular development. Hello, sir. Welcome to City Newsroom. What's your name?
My name is Karim, but people knows me as Elegege.
What do you know about what happened today?
It's not easy. What is happening in our Zongo community is really bad. It's really bad. This fight started not today. This fight started more than 3 years. Our big people knows about what is happening in our area. Exchanging of fire, not today. There was a guy they killed at Mamobi called Derry. They killed him like 1 year, 4 months now. Nobody saying anything, and we have a leaders there. Nobody is saying anything. But now we are going to handle any issue to a police, so that police will take their own decision.
These two groups that we are told about, Bomba and Kumoji group, are you in any of them?
I'm not part of any of them.
But were there people who died today during the shooting? Do you know?
No, I don't know people died, but the same. I know about few people that I bring here to the Nima police station. They took them to hospital, police hospital.
They are injured.
Yeah.
We are told that. What kind of injury? Describe the injuries.
Oh, they shot them at the leg side, 2 of them.
And are they ordinary people in the town, or these are members of these two groups?
Some the people I saw today, some were out to buy food, some were out to do their own business. They are not part of the fight. So it's innocent people that they shot today.
The shootings we saw, very dangerous, very risky. Is that something that is normal, that people just have guns and shooting around?
Boss, if I would say Nima, they are having a lot of weapons in Nima. Not 1, not 2. Plenty weapons. So police people should fight and collect all the weapons from these people.
These are groups that have been very active. They have supporters, then they are rival groups. They are not necessarily political groups. They are not chieftains or groups that belong to chiefs and so on. But they are rather groups that belong to just individuals who are strong and opinionated and possibly have some power of a sort in the community. And so they have blocks, if you like, and these 2 blocks are the rival blocks that we are witnessing here.
All right.
So that was our colleague, Umaru Sanda Mudu, interviewing residents of that community in Nima, where the exchange of gunfire, where attacks with machetes, etc. happened, the disturbances that happened yesterday. Now, as we understand, some of the suspects involved have been arrested. I think we'll get some imagery of some of them. So you can see some of the people who have been arrested in connection with these disturbances. But also joining us in the studio is our colleague here and a co-host of the City Breakfast Show, Kojo Akoto Boateng. Good morning, Kojo.
Good morning, Kokui. Good morning, Kogu. How are you guys?
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
It's like we're all in some shade of blue.
Yeah.
Somehow.
We are doing the blue things.
Navy, sky blue.
Yeah, turquoise.
Turquoise-ish.
Yeah. People will call it lemon blue.
Oh, really?
Or tortoise blue.
Charlie. Anyway, well, from shades of blue to shades of violence.
Yeah.
Goodness.
So, I mean, I was horrified when I saw the video. I was like, is this Accra? But yes.
Yeah, last night when the news team was moving to Nima, I happened to be around the office.
Oh, okay.
So the Black Stars game was ongoing, so we're all watching the game. And then I saw cameramen, drivers just running, getting into the car. What is it? We are going to Nima because there are reports of gunshots and everything. And I was like, why are these things happening now? I have seen some of these things before. In my childhood at Ijazongo, those of us in Ijazongo, the Sun City and the various areas, the young men would have feuds with people from, say, Sawaba or Abuabo number 1, Abuabo number 2, and they would either go there and fight or they will come here and fight. You see them with machetes, sometimes even bows and arrows.
Wow.
And all sorts of things. But I thought that with time, with the security infrastructure, with education, public awareness, some of these things will stop. And listening to the people Sanders spoke to.
You know what? Let's just go for a short break, okay? Let's go for a short break. We'll come right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Now, the hashtag is Breakfast Daily. The WhatsApp line is 0550585832. Our colleague, Kojo Akoto Boateng, is here with us in the studio. Where were you last night when the news came out of the clashes in Nima, and what do you make of it? Send us messages. Let us know what you're thinking about all that is going on. Were you even there on the ground, and how did you feel as it was happening, the gunfire and the machetes in the streets? Kojo, you were talking earlier before we went for the break.
Yes, so I saw the news team rushing to Medina, Sanda, the camera guys, the drivers, and when I asked, they said they had heard gunshots, so they were going to cover the incident. And I was very surprised because I've seen this happen in my neighborhood when I was growing up, and I thought that times have changed. Education, public awareness, you don't expect these things to happen. If there's a disagreement, people must talk. If people don't want to talk, the security apparatus should also be picking some of these signals. And
intelligence.
Yes, intelligence agencies must be picking some of these signals and getting ready to deal with the issues. But I must commend the police service because from all the reports, they were there on time to ensure that there were no casualties in the sense that I was expecting, because when I heard there were gunshots and everything, my first fear was that people were going to die, because Nima is a highly populated area. So if somebody misses and fires into a crowd, and we are going to not like what we hear. So I think the police service did well in bringing the situation under control. But the people Sanders spoke to, one person said that this has been happening for about 3 years. Or the misunderstandings have been going on for about 3 years. That's where my concern is. If it's been happening for about 3 years, our opinion leaders in the area are aware that this is happening. Government institutions that must do with some of these things, are they aware? Youth leaders, are they aware? And if they were aware, what did they do? Because we see some of these things. I can even take you to the Somanya area, ECG, Somanya disturbances. It's been going on for years, and you expect that some of these issues, which have the likelihood to disturb the peace of communities, disrupt economic activities, hurt people, the moment they come up, we put in place the structures to deal with them amicably. And so I think that this should be that event that gets all the various institutions on their toes. They should put their shoulders to the wheel they should work together to fix the issue so that we don't see this again, because it can happen to any of us. We all drive through Nima. Everybody does business around Nima or does something. One day you go there, this happens, you are hurt, you are injured, you are killed. And the state has a responsibility to protect its citizenry. That's why we have the intelligence agencies and all that. So the police have been fantastic. They can do more with the other intelligence agencies to pick the signals, to look for the key people behind some of these things, and to really bring lasting peace to the people of Nima.
I always think we were talking earlier about the issue of the underlying factors that cause these kind of things. Of course, every situation is unique, so there could be, revenge, attacks, reprisal attacks for whatever reason. Or for me, as we mentioned off air, if there's aspiration and there's a desire to progress and develop yourself and become better and all of that, it's not likely that you will go, into this kind of gang life. So the issue of youth development then comes up again, which we talked about quite extensively yesterday. So I think it's very important to focus on what are we doing for the people of Nima in particular. I mean, I know the president mentioned about redeveloping, gentrifying the whole place and all of that. I don't know where the plans are as far as that is concerned. What are your thoughts with all of this?
You are right. I think one of the reasons why we set up the Zongo Development Fund, one of the reasons why we have the Ministry of Youth, one of the reasons why we have EA and all the NEIPs is to assess the needs of the youth, give them opportunities, sustainable opportunities that they can use to have a better livelihood, so they don't do some of these things. We always say that the devil finds work for the idle hands, right? And usually when these things happen, I'm not sure you find a seriously engaged somebody in an economic activity which takes his time and attention to go and do some of these things. There are instances where people gainfully employed will do some of these things because of all sorts of reasons, but largely if the population and the youth population in this case have something that is occupying them, something that is giving them some proper earnings, a meaningful life, there are some of these peripheral issues that they don't pay attention to. So I think it's something we need to look at. On the issue of Nima redevelopment, I think it's also very important. This is why Nima sits in the center of town, sort of, because East Legon, you enter the 37 area, you go this way, you are going to Nima Mamobi areas. There's Roman Ridge, there's the very developed Jolu, there's Achimota, there's Tesano, right? Then you come to Kokomlimle Adabraka. The population of Nima is huge. The kind of housing in Nima needs to be relooked at. If you actually look at the Ghana housing policy, and the definition of housing and affordable housing and slum, you can conclude that Nima is a typical slum. Right. Now, is there land to do this in phases? I think there is land to do this in phases. Do we have the finances? I think we have smart economists and financial people who can work out a model. Do we have people to engage stakeholders and the community to buy into the project? I think we do have that as well. So let's start developing the concept. If we've not developed it already, let's engage the community, the stakeholders. Let us let them know that, sometimes people will fight certain projects because they feel that once it's done, they are going to lose their bits of the holding. So KGTR redevelopment, Central Market, traders don't want to go because they feel that once the redevelopment is done, they may not get stalls to sell. So they'll fight it. But once we plan with the people and take them along in the execution process, I know that Ghanaians, we are very reasonable people. They will buy into some of these projects. And the whole Nima community that we see right now can occupy just about a quarter of the lands, the current lands of Nima.
Oh, wow.
And we have enough lands to develop more housing close to the center, close to town, and bring in people who have to go and rent in the Dodoes and the Kasues and stop the urban sprawl, which will also reduce the pressure on the state to find money to extend public goods and services, water, electricity, roads. So it's something that is doable. We do Nima, we can then enter a place like Adabraka. If you look at Adabraka, most of the houses are just 2 stories, ground floor, first floor. There is an opportunity to go maybe minimum 4 floors. That means that half the population in Adabraka can be, the whole population in Adabraka can now be housed in half the landmass. Then we can develop more housing to bring people in. The way Accra is going is about the smallest region in land size, but it's the region with the highest population, the Greater Accra region as a whole. The way we are going to build so much so that all the other spaces that must support quality of life may be used up. The Achimota forest has been encroached upon. We have rezoned the Adenta aviation lands, which was a big park, which makes us breathe easy. We are encroaching on the Sakumo lagoon areas. If you go to Ashaiman, we built a big dam for irrigation purposes. So the Ashaiman area was supposed to be for agric. Where I live, Amrahia, they were supposed to be for agric. If you go to the Amrahia Dairy Farms area, recently the minister said that they are going to divide the land into 3. 1 part for the farms, 1 part for the chiefs, 1 part for real estate. Why? Because people need a place to live. But we are not going up. We are just spreading. And that may end up putting a lot more stress on the current system in Accra. So I think that we're in a good place. The current Minister of Works and Housing, he's young, he's visionary, he's seen what is happening around the world. Current Minister of Lands, he's also young. I think he has the drive. We've got a good crop of people in the spaces. What we need from them right now is for them to really sit down beyond the talk, right? Sit down, put things on paper, get private sector, get religious bodies. Look, it will surprise you the amount of money religious bodies are sitting on.
No, that wouldn't surprise me at all. But we're still discussing the disturbances that occurred in Nima yesterday. Now, we've spoken to ACP Kwesi Ofori this morning, but let's remind ourselves of what he said yesterday at the police press conference after the incident occurred.
And the Nima Divisional Commander, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Mr. Abraham Akwe. I am Kwesi Ofori, Assistant Commissioner of Police and Director General Public Affairs. Distinguished gentlemen of the press, Nima, a suburb of Accra, witnessed gangsterism and mass violence around 3:30 p.m. and the police quickly and immediately intervened by disengaging that violence. The violence was the violence spread across some sections of Nima, and the intervention force have to manage the situation carefully. They managed to stabilize the situation. 7 people have been arrested. 5 are presently here with us, and the other 2 are on admission under police guard. That suggests they are under arrest. Again, we are pursuing the criminals in and around Nima and its environs to make sure that we get them arrested to enable them to face justice. And the gangsterism that I spoke about is led by one Kumoji, alias Ibrahim Hussein, and Bombom, alias Ali Audu. They are rival groups that never agreed on issues. And today they went all out on the open street of Nima. We would like the media to know that the police has taken charge of the situation and we have nipped that violence in the bud. We are in control and we would like to let the good people of Nima know that the police will be there at all times to protect life and property, and that will not give room for such criminals to disturb the peace and security of Nima. As I said, those arrested will be subjected to thorough investigations, and those found culpable will be prosecuted according to the laws of the land. The police administration also would like to make it clear that it will not sit down unconcerned for such hoodlums, criminals, to take our streets and deploy violence. Again, we also like to say that we've retrieved some important items, clues and evidence on the street, notably some spent ammunitions, some ammunitions, and adapted implement to cause harm and injury. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our exercise to maintain general stability, law and order in the Nima environs continues. And that exercise is ongoing under the headship of the Director General Police Operations and the Accra Regional Commander. So by tomorrow morning, the media again will be updated on issues pertaining to our ops. One victim, also identified as Apia, who was shot during the incident, is currently responding to treatment at the 37 Military Hospital. And police will continue to monitor development closely and update you tomorrow. Thank you very much.
So again, that was the voice of ACP Kwesi Ofori, Director of Public Affairs for the Ghana Police Service, and he was giving a press conference yesterday, immediately after the events that took place in Nima, and he again recapped the incident and those who were involved. So these two names keep cropping up, Kumoji and whether it's Bombo or Bomba, giving the sense that we've got essentially two gangs that were going after each other. Now we heard one resident of the area saying that there's history to that, as you mentioned, 3 years. Leaders in the community, he said, know about it, but now it's erupted because of that. Do you understand? So how concerned should we be, Kojo, about gang activity in general? You know, you may say that it's localized to certain hotspots, but as a nation, is there something we should be focusing on with regard to the youth and some of their involvement in recalcitrant groups like this?
Considering also the terror activities that happen in our region. Okay, so Burkina, some small issue there, Nigeria, some issues there. You know, if they are unsettled, you know, members, disgruntled people, they are easy, you know, people to rope in and to influence.
I'm not much of a security person, but this is what I know. If you look at the recent peace index rankings, Ghana is a good boy amongst a neighborhood of bad boys, right? And if you look at the parameters, looks like we are doing well in almost all the parameters. The only thing that makes me worried is the availability of weapons. The Small Arms Commission has consistently been telling us that there are over 1 million weapons in people's hands in the country, and we must find a way of getting all those weapons in the custody of the state, and then, if possible, destroy all the weapons. They've been working with the police, and every now and again they give us updates about what they are doing and what they've been able to do. When it comes to gang violence, the literature, the evidence, and a lot of things we've seen, we see these things happen. For example, we see disturbances happen within communities, Alavanyo in Konya, which is being dealt with. Then in Kumasi, back in the days when we were very young, there was the Budo, Macho, those things. We had some gang leaders in Kumasi, which was a thing. It was the talk of town. Some of them got shot, some of them got arrested. It was nipped in the bud. When we are getting ready for elections, you see political party groups and gangs engage in some of these violent activities. What happened in the Ahafo, Bono East region in the past election is there. What has happened in other areas is there, Odudududu and all that. But I don't think that is reason enough for me to be afraid and link what is happening to what is happening in our neighboring countries, like the Burkina Faso, the Mali. Those are entirely different levels of violence, organized and funded by elements within and without their states. And I think that our security agencies, we may have some issues here and there, but I think that largely they've been on top of issues. They've helped maintain the peace in the country. And we as a people as well have also done a lot of work in maintaining the peace in the country. So I cannot comfortably link these things or infer that because these things are happening, we could get to the place where our neighbors are. You know, what's happening in Mali, Burkina, what happened in Cote d'Ivoire and the other places. They are big political figures who have factions, who are fighting for absolute control of the countries. They are big tribal leaders who have power and resources, who are also fighting for control of certain areas. But we don't see that here. We've not seen that. The last one we saw was the Western Togoland issues, but even that, it was just a small group of people. It wasn't the whole Volta OT. So this doesn't really alarm me much when you want to relate it to what's happening in the sub-region when it comes to violence. But my main area of concern is that the level of peace we are enjoying, the level of security we are enjoying, the level of serenity we are enjoying within this sub-regional chaos, we should not allow some of these things to happen. Even if one Ghanaian loses a drop of blood because of gang violence, it's not acceptable, because the ideal situation is for all of us to be safe, is for all of us not to be injured, killed because of these things. So we must do all we can to deal with it. The police, like I said, they've done a good job. They've made initial arrests. Kwesi Fori, ACP, says that investigations are ongoing and they'll get to the bottom of this. And if there's anything to go by, the Dampare-led administration has shown commitment in raising the standards of policing in the country, in ensuring that the service actually serves us with integrity. And I'm very hopeful that they're going to get to the bottom of this. And if what we've seen them do recently is anything also to go by, their stakeholder engagement, community engagement, can bring about a lot of good in some of these areas to get us to a place we are all happy with. So I'm hopeful that the police will get to the bottom of this. And
maybe the change of leadership will help, because again, if this had been simmering for a few years, one wonders why perhaps there wasn't maybe more of a police presence, or maybe why they didn't have a grip on it sooner, and how it even got to this point. But as you're saying, maybe in the transition in police leadership, their eyes will be on there now. And we know that this is an IGP and his team that once they have their eye on something, they pretty much
surprised if he's already there, on his way there,
probably to speak to opinion leaders,
or is engaging people behind the scenes before they make a move. So I'm hopeful that the police service will get something good going in the area.
And we did see some of the suspects, maybe we can roll that again, some of the people who had been arrested, some of them themselves injured. We saw fat lips, etc. I mean, but And I think we'll be speaking to some youth who are in the area as well to get their perspective. But again, this is all related to the disturbances in Nima that took place yesterday. So yeah, we can see some young, and look, they're young. I mean, these are,
that's what it is.
These are young people who could be otherwise engaged. Do you understand? If they had, something, if they were gainfully engaged or employed, as you were saying earlier, Kojo, they probably would not even think of engaging in such violence if they had something else.
Well, we really need to get to the bottom of this, why the two gangs are doing what they do, who is behind the scenes pushing them to do what they do, where if they are well resourced, where they are getting their resources from, we should cut that. And so I expect the police administration to go all out and really do a good job with this, and this will lead them to some of the other areas we've seen some of these things happen, so that in general we're able to stop some of these things from happening.
Okay, so we did speak to some of the youth. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Welcoming you to Nima, and then what happened today, I'm condemning that. My name is Ibrahim. We need unity in Nima, both team and team. We need the big men, our protectors, to invite those people so that they will settle or sign a bond so that we will be free, because we are not like that. Some few people normally spoil our name. We have good people in Nima, but not all of us are bad. So we are pleading to our protectors, that is the government, to keep on protecting us, and then to settle this issue, or how they will do this issue so that we too will have peace now.
All right, so some thoughts from a youth member of the community, and saying that he condemns, the violence that took place, and that they need unity in the environment, in the community. Now, one of the things for me is something you touched on: small arms. The proliferation of small arms has been going on for a long time in this country, and we've also done a lot of talk, about the fact that we need to deal with it, we need to jump on top of it, we need to. And for me, the reason why I drew, parallels between what's happening in a sub-region and looking at the Ghana situation is that if you're not careful, all you need is one or two more elements being at the right temperature, and there'll be an explosion. Because once you have arms, people have guns in their homes, people have all kinds of other weapons in their homes. Like one of the guys said who spoke earlier, the one in the blue, he said that there's a lot of weapons, not just a few weapons, a lot of weapons in Nima alone. You see, now I think there were some figures that came out some time ago about over 1 million weapons in the wrong hands. Small Arms Commission, has been talking about this. For me, I want to see action in that direction, where we actually, because I think there was something that we did some few years ago. I remember there was bring your weapon, and then and all some amnesty and all of that for that. But I think that people find more use, or find it more useful to own the weapon than to give it up for some kind of amnesty, because their mentality is that you won't find it anyway. I'm hiding it. You won't find it. So, there's a quick story. I want to just quickly read bits of it for us. This is from Graphic Online, dating back to 2016. 1,300 guns burnt, but 1.1 million firearms in the wrong hands. This is coming from the Small Arms Commission. The National Small Arms Commission last Saturday destroyed 1,300 illegal guns in the country, but warned that there were still more than 1.1 million of such firearms in light weapons that may be in wrong hands. The guns, which were marked and broken before being set on fire, included locally made single and double-barreled shotguns, locally made and imported pistols, pump-action guns, local mortars, etc. The number of illegal firearms in the wrong hands, that for Ghana's 27 million population at the time, the ratio of illegal arms to the population is 1.25. So you have more weapons than you have, well, you have just, the proportion is that to every one Ghanaian, there's 1.25 weapons. That is very serious.
It is, but if you read the story very well, 1,300 weapons retrieved and burnt. It's a big number. You might say that the 1.1 in the system is quite a big number.
Yeah.
But Small Arms Commission, have you seen the Small Arms Commission before? It's not a large institution.
No, it's a very small.
It's a small institution. Yes. So being able to work with the police service to retrieve that number is really big, and I must commend them. What we must do going forward, like the NCCs, these institutions, we need to strategically fund them. We need to strategically resource them. Look, a vibrant NCC will make the work of Small Arms Commission and police service easy.
Yeah.
Public education, drive the message home. Small Arms Commission steps in, police service assists them to retrieve weapons too. So everything is linked. So you see how the young men in Nima say that, look, they are against the violence.
Yeah. It's giving them a bad name.
They're against the violence. And it's true. You go to Nima, you have, Zongo is a place for visitors, right?
Yeah.
So you have people who move from Central region, live there.
Yeah.
People from Volta live there. People from the north live there. People from Nigeria live there. People from all walks of life live there. Sometimes you look at communities like that, we just define them and put them in a certain box. But it's a community with so much diversity, it will blow your mind if you spend time in there. Now, a few young people are giving all of them a bad name. But if we had the structures in place to do proper public education, to encourage the other young people to also look out for some of these things and even be informants for the police service.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Get together and also do other community improvement things. We would see a change in how some of our communities are organized. So I feel that Small Arms, they are under-resourced, but they are doing great. You might think that 1,300 as a proportion of 1.1 million is negligible. But if we give you a Tico, right, those small cars,
and
we'll give you a Marco Polo, and we say, look, the Marco Polo can carry 1,000 people, but you manage to use the Tico to carry 100 people when its capacity is 5 people, then you've actually gone over your capacity. So that's how I see the Small Arms Commission and the work they are doing. If we see it that way, that with very little resources they are doing very well, then the question we would ask is, if we give them more, can they do better? Then we push a little bit more into the system and see what they do with that, and we keep pushing. It's not going to be done overnight, but there is work that has started, and I think that we need to invest in them expanding their operations so that they can rid the country of these illegal arms, and importantly, also get the NCCEs, also get community leaders. We need to be a community again. You see, with time, we are no longer a community.
This matter.
In the village setting, it's a communal thing. So you can punish my child, she can correct my child. These days it's changing. Now as you get to the bigger towns, because of the pressures of life, everybody, each one for himself, God for us all. But we need to use the existing institutions. I will always go back to the religious institutions. Christianity, Islam, they galvanize us. The traditional system, then the state apparatus supports these things to drive home the message. I think we're in a very good place as a country, really, but it can get better. We don't have to see some of these things.
Right. All right. Thank you so much, Kojo Akoto-Boateng, co-host of City Breakfast Show, for the insight. And as ACP Kwesi Ofori said, stick and stay tuned to City Newsroom, City FM, and City TV for updates from the police on the situation in Nima. He did say that there'll be another press conference today to update you. So stick with the City platforms. We will bring you the latest on this development. Thanks again, Kojo. Always great to have you.
All right. Well, we'll take a short break. Breakfast Daily, it's going to continue.